Sit, sit. This is Bernie, not Bernie Sanders. Don't vote for him. Well, you can vote for Bernie, just don't vote for this Bernie. In this video, Bernie likes to steal things, and he doesn't like to give them up. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to teach your dog to drop, also the leave it command, and I'm going to give you some tips on if you have a dog that likes to do what we call countersurfing. So first thing for the drop, what we want to do is we want to teach the dog that dropping things is good. A lot of us, we physically take things away from the dog, and as single time we do that, we create a longing for wanting to have it. Now I have a special item that he really likes behind me that I'm not going to pull out until later on, until we've established it. So as you see, I'm kind of teasing him a little bit. I want him to kind of feel like he gets it and steals it from me. If I just give it to him, he's not going to want to take it. So I'm going to try to get him to latch on. There we go. So he's got it. Drop. So for the drop, all you got to do is wait for your dog. You don't have to do all that production. Just wait for your dog to go pick up anything that they're allowed to have. Hold the treat in front of their mouth and just literally touch the nose with it if you need to, and just hold it here. Don't try to take it with the object in their mouth before they figure out that they can't, and then they eventually will drop it, and then you pop the treat in their mouth. But every time you physically take things away from the dog, you make them less inclined to want to drop it because you're proving to them, yes, I'm stealing your stuff. Now, sometimes your dog does get into things that you don't want, some pills or some lotion or a bunny rabbit toy that we're going to see in a second. If we have to actually take the item away, we want to first practice sit. Practice quite a bit with low value items. Items the dog's allowed to have at 8 points, so it's not any high value. Then when it has a high value item, you want to be able to pull out, you're going to do the same drop command, but when they drop it, this time we're going to swap it out for like a bully stick or a cow knee or something of either equal or greater value. So even though he is losing something, he's getting something to replace it, he feels whole. So it's really important you practice with low value items. When your dog has anything they're allowed to have, just try to quietly pull out a treat and hold it out there. You can't really rep it a lot unless they keep on bringing you stuff, which he actually likes to do. But every time he does, if you don't have a treat, every time he drops it on his own, if he brings you something, he drops it, just pet him and say the word drop. Put it in context. All right, so that's the drop command. Now, drop is dropping or giving up something that he already has possession of. Leave it is not acquiring the object to begin with. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing we do is we want to have a high value training treat, and we're going to have them in both of our hands. Now, I have a couple in this hand. I'm holding it with a loose hand, and you see he's kind of engaging with it. I have one. This is the one I'm going to reward him with. So I'm waiting for him to disengage. He's doing what most dogs do and just trying to take it. If you pause that or whatever, don't move your hand, just leave it there. And you just have to be very patient. And as soon as he disengages, that's when he's going to get the reward. What this teaches the dog is challenging the human doesn't work. There you go. But as soon as you stop challenging them, good things happen. Now, one thing you notice I didn't say there was leave it. I only say leave it when I'm actually demonstrating on the floor. So we're going to use a couple more times, then we'll do one on the floor. That was good. That was faster. I'm going to switch it this way so where I have a different hand. So you see I changed the criteria a little bit, and now we got a different response. There you go. All right, so that's the first stage. You don't have to do this one very much, but you want to have a high value stinky treat that the dog's really going to want first. And then you're going to go ahead and alternate hand to hand. And do it in different rooms, different parts of your house. A lot of people only do it in one spot. If you're in that one spot, the dog will do whatever you want. If you go somewhere else, it won't. All right, this is not very good camera presence for you. Can we get you to come over here? That's a little trick. All right. So what I'm going to do is I've got a couple treats in this hand that I'm going to reward with. I'm going to drop the one here. I drop it, and then I collapse my hand over it. He's going to, again, dig at it and lick at it and try to get it. I have a treat here. He never gets the treat that's on the floor. Now this time he has to disengage. When he disengages, I'm going to treat from this hand, and I'm going to assign the command word at this point. Leave it. And then I pick the object back up. Now I'm going to drop it over here. Leave it. And then I pick the object back up. Make sure you alternate side to side. And you took a ton of treats. There's almost none left in the bag, so I'm going to need more treats from you. Just toss them your treat pouch if you could. There we go. Megan took the mother load of your treats. All right. So you want to keep on practicing this, and we're going to rep this off camera with the Guardians after this. But you want to rep this a couple of times a day, each person, and we'll see how far along we can get. So if I'm kind of caging it now, I'm not collapsing my hand all the way down, leave it. There you go. I pick it back up, and then we're going to switch. Now I'm going to drop it on this side. Now I wasn't quite able to get where I wanted to. Let's leave it. He's getting it faster and faster. What I want to be able to do is drop it and hover my hand over it. Let's see if we can do that on this side. Come here, buddy. Over here. Oh. Oops. Leave it. All right. So we're going to keep on practicing this until, and we're probably about right for this criteria. What I'm going to wait for now, I'm going to have him over here, is I'm going to wait for him to look at me in the face. Crumbs. Patience is a virtue. Trying to make it easy. Oh, there we go. Leave it. Then I pick it back up. And a good little sidebar. You did a great job. Sometimes we have people in the background who are making a lot of sounds. Nobody should be eating when you're first doing this. We're just going to keep doing it. Now, he was almost at the hover, so I'm going to try to do a hover here. Leave it. Now, I'm doing this for demonstration purpose. Don't leave it there too long, because then, again, he's going to try to go for it. Leave it. Now, he didn't give me eye contact there, but I'm moving along faster than you normally would doing this exercise. We just usually have about 6 to 10 treats and practice. And your first stage is, again, you want to get to the point where he just disengages right away. And at that point, instead of collapsing on it, you're going to cage it. Next stage is you're going to hover like this. And you can always go down if you need to. And always have the treat in your other hand. Leave it. And he gave me eye contact there. So the idea is you get to the point and you keep on switching from hand to hand. So the idea is we want to keep on teaching him that leaving things alone is rewardable. Now, we've only done a couple. I typically like to do more than this. Leave it. This way, if he's going towards something like a bunny rabbit that he's not supposed to have, leave it. Now this is a little bit early to be doing this because, again, we want to establish the command. He's only had this for, leave it, for like a couple minutes at this point. You want to get to the point where you can have a treat lying on the ground. He starts walking over and say, leave it, and he just stops and looks up at you instead of going and trying to take it. So then you want to basically leave it. Reward him for doing that. Now, we can also do a claiming exercise, and I'm going to stand up, Megan, so you might have to move the camera a little bit. You can try, as long as you do it from sitting, that's fine. So when dogs claim things, they literally stand over it. It's kind of like this. So he's doing, now we're having residual carryover because I just got done doing this exercise for the leave it. But normally he probably wanted to get that. I mean, the bunny's guardian is right here. So I'm using the escalating consequences I went over off camera, and I mirrored him. He took a step, I took a step. He stopped, I stopped. Wherever he goes, I track him with my authority goes wherever direction my belly button is pointing. Sometimes this is like, I don't care anymore. Most of the time it's like, I'm trying to make you think I don't care anymore, so you go over here and check out the door, and then I can grab the bunny rabbit. But claiming it can be a nice way to do it as well. I would prefer using the all positive approach where we do the exercise dropping the treats like I showed you. And just like I mentioned, don't only do it here, do it there, do it in the bedrooms, basement, everywhere else. You can do this for anything. So you want to present the object once he knows how to do it. And then when he starts going for it, you say leave it, and he comes up, and then you reward him. So we're rewarding the dog for not doing the thing we don't want them to do. All right, so that's how we can get a dog to stop getting all the rest of these things. Now, part of it is, I think, a big part of factor for him is exercise. He goes and grabs things, and people in the house chase him sometimes to get them. That is fun for him and is a game. And so upping his exercise, which I talked about off camera, will really help. But if you have a dog that steals things, make sure you look into how much exercise your dog is getting. They need a minimum of an hour a day, unless it's a really old dog. Some dogs even more than that, and they're best sprinkled in smaller exercise sessions, maybe 3 20-minute walks a day as opposed to 1 hour walk. Sit. The last thing I'm going to do, and I talked about, and we're just going to go ahead and do it from right here. Normally I would go to the kitchen, but this is good lighting, so we'll just keep it here. Is what we call countersurfing. Countersurfing is when the dog jumps up on the counter and grabs something and runs away. And usually there's good stuff on the counter, so it's a self-rewarding behavior. I have a client, I'm going to tell a funny story about this as I explain how to do this, because I think it's kind of funny. So I was, actually, this client lived in Hidden Hills, which is a really prestigious part of California, and they lived next door to the Kardashians. So it was a really big house. And anyways, the dog kept on getting on the counter and stealing stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, this method will stop her from doing it, but it's going to sound like a MacGyver episode. And the woman's like, are you messing with me? I'm like, I haven't even told you what it is. I mean, no. Okay, so she goes, oh, go ahead. Okay, so get a spaghetti colander, like an aluminum one. Get about 6 or 7 empty soda cans, about 6 or 7 pieces of silverware, a bagel, and a piece of string about that long. I'm like, doesn't that sound like a MacGyver episode? She's like, are you messing with me? No, but doesn't that sound like? She's like, go on. Okay. So what you do is you take the spaghetti colander, you put it here on the counter. Whoops, this is plugged in, so we'll just use this. Put the spaghetti colander here, fill it up with the soda cans and the silverware, tie the string to it, and tie the other piece of the string to the bagel, which you put right here. Do this only when you're home, but not necessarily in the kitchen, but nearby. And you can change the bagel to pizza crust or other things as well. So don't have it hang over as well. Just put it on the counter like it normally would, and then leave the area, but be nearby. What'll happen is the dog's gonna come by and like do a sniff by, drive by, but with its nose. Oh, bagel. Come back and grab it. And when the dog grabs the bagel, the string is gonna pull down the colander, and all the cans and the silverware are gonna hit the floor and make a loud catastrophe sound. It's gonna spook the dog's gonna run away. Then what happens is when you go in there, you don't say word one to the dog. You go in there, you pick the colander up, put all the things back in, put it back on the counter, and walk away. So what we're saying is when you get on the counter, a calamity happens, not I get mad when you get on the counter, because in his case, he didn't have any rules, he's under exercise. He does it partially, I think, to get attention. Now, and I'm like, so, doesn't that sound like a MacGyver episode, at least I think? She goes, well, MacGyver was my ex-husband. So that's the joke for that. But I did have a client whose dog didn't have a drop command and countersurfed and could have killed all the people in the family because it jumped up on the counter, and what it decided to grab was a 12-inch butcher knife, and then it promptly chased them around the house. Fortunately, nobody got hurt, but it was highlighted because they were just cutting some meat and it smelled like meat. Very dangerous situation. So the more that you can practice this technique, the better. Now, usually it only takes a couple of times. Now, he may be there's a 1 percentile of dog that will go grab one of the cans and then run around the house crinkling up the can. And their guardians are kind of wincing and saying, yeah, it's probably our dog. So if that's the case, then we might do a negative reinforcer. Or a positive punishment, as we like to call it. And so basically, I've seen people do it where they get a can filled with bolts and change, and we'll drop it on the ground or throw it near the dog. Don't ever throw it at the dog, but near the dog to startle the dog when it's coming over to investigate. If this is the dog's nose, bang. So you want to startle the dog. I did have one client, and the guy, I don't know where he got one, but he got an air horn. And he goes, I did it once, the dog didn't go in the kitchen for a week. And so, again, it startles the dog. It's not ideal. We'd rather use something like this. We'd rather use the leave it command. So the dog comes up and sniffs the counter. We say leave it, and they go, oh, okay, so I leave it alone. You're going to give me something better from over here. But again, a lot of this is going to come down to are the guardians enforcing rules consistently and getting him the exercise he needs. All right, is there anything else? I think that's a good summation of that one. Well, this is not Bernie Sanders. This is Bernie, what is he, Aussiedoodle? Mm-hmm. Bernie, the black Aussiedoodle. And you get an extra bonus treat for that. And these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that likes to counter surf, doesn't know how to drop, likes to steal things, all in one.